And we are back here at the Villanova Football Club Tailgate outside of Villanova Stadium. We're telling our favorite playoff stories in honor of Villanova taking on Eastern Kentucky in round one of the FCS playoffs. Things are beginning to heat up here at Villanova Stadium. I'm here once again with
Kathy Maycoid.
Kathy, great story last week. We were talking about favorite Battle of the Blue memories. This week, favorite playoff memory for Villanova. Kathy, where do you go?
I go to 2009, David. Have to go to that championship year. It was such a special year. We'll never, ever, ever forget those memories. Mostly, I remember that William and Mary playoff game, December 11th. We were down, I think, 13-6 in the third quarter. Fake punt, Caesar took it got a first down, and then in the fourth quarter, Chris Whitney, our quarterback, scored a touchdown. We wound up going ahead 14-13. It went down to the wire, and the most fun thing was ESPN was there, and we had to make our posters with the acronym of ESPN. We had even Santa Picks Nova was our acronym, and we just had a great memory. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And here's so much about that wonderful historic year 2009. How about we do it again in 2024?
Wouldn't that be awesome? I have a championship necklace that I would love to get another one. So,
okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
We need to get another one.
Well, the run all starts today here against Eastern Kentucky coming up at 2 p.m. Stay tuned for much more action. Nova Nation, we'll be right back from the tailgate. Welcome back here to the A2 tailgating lot here outside Villanova Stadium. Burke behind us is getting ready to feed the club with some hot dogs, I should say, are on the grill here near Villanova Stadium. Back here with another interview. I'm here with
Bob Limecooler, class of '85.
Bob, great to be here with you. What is your We're delivering us hot dogs here on the interview. Bob, I'll get to this in a second. What is your favorite playoff story throughout the years for Villanova?
Well, I'm unique in that I'm the 4 years at Villanova that didn't have football.
Okay.
So football is very special to me. Obviously, 2009 was a very special time, but I think the most memorable game, and unfortunately it's because we lost, was 1991. We played Youngstown State out there.
Okay. I've heard there were some rivalries going back in the years, and of course we played them to begin this season and in the playoffs last year as well.
And it was 16-14.
Okay.
And Villanova was up. And it was 4th and 14, I believe, and Youngstown State's quarterback threw a long pass. Two Villanova guys collided. The ball went straight up the air. The Youngstown State turned his back, and it fell right in his arms. Set him up for probably like a 42-yard field goal with no time left, and we lost that game.
And that's how they won the game.
That's how they won the
field
game.
Goal.
It was Jeff Wilkins.
Okay.
And actually,
what year was this again, Bob?
This was 1991.
1991, okay.
And I actually had the pleasure of speaking to Jeff Wilkins on the sidelines and said, you know, what is the most memorable kick? And he mentioned that kick to beat Villanova.
Wow.
And he kicked for the Rams.
Okay.
He kicked for the Rams. So it was obviously a very, very painful loss, but we made it up in 2009.
Yes, definitely. And trying, of course, to get back and make a deep FCS playoff run this year. Any predictions for today, Bob? Against Eastern Kentucky?
I don't know a lot about East Kentucky, but obviously I think if we shut down their run game and make them pass with the win, I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. Their rushing attack really kind of their main focus of their offense. They've won 5 straight. Even after losing 4 of their first 7, they got into the FCS playoffs. Villanova, the number 11 seed. More interviews coming to you here on social media. We'll be right back.
Go Cats.
Go Cats. The tailgating scene getting ready for today's round 1 FCS playoff game between Villanova and Eastern Kentucky. Continuing our interviews, your favorite playoff memories. I'm here with
Eric Treves.
Welcome back, Eric. It was great to talk with you last week, and you said that you have a lot of favorite playoff memories, so please share us a couple.
Well, Dave, it's nice to be here on a former KVU. I guess you're
XVU, but former WXVU/KVU alum. Great to be back with you, Eric.
Well, it was a good time. I just want to let you know, last week was my 37th straight Delaware game I went to in a row. I hadn't missed one since they brought football back.
Okay.
And of course, when I was at KVU, so I've gone to a lot of them. But I guess we're talking about playoffs.
Can I ask you one thing, because I think that our listeners would love to hear from a perspective. So we all heard about earlier, right? There was about a 4 or 5 year gap. Villanova did not have football.
Yes.
Could you share a little bit more about that for our listeners out there? Because a lot of people hear about it, and I think they would like to know a little bit more about it.
I got a funny story for you about that.
Okay, sure.
Well, because when they dropped football, they call it the midnight madness. It was dropped at midnight.
I heard about that.
The trustees were not around. The people who were pro football were not around, so they just did it. And it was out for 4 years. So Bob Capone, who was Mr. Villanova Football, he's deceased 2017, but he was a player here, an administrator here, a coach here. He was here for 50 years. Anybody, you ask anybody, everybody loved Bob. Anyway, he was instrumental in starting up the Wildcat Club to get football back. but we had to get fundraising to get the money back.
Sure.
So Jerry Lee, God bless his soul, in fact, we even have a seat up in by your press box for Jerry Lee, a plaque on a seat where he used to sit, said, "Why don't I get Bob Hope?" So everybody laughed at Jerry and said, "Yeah, Jerry, and I'm going to go get Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin." You know, we didn't think he was serious. And Jerry said, "Okay, fine." Well, lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, apparently he knew Bob Hope from the service.
Oh, wow.
Whatever.
Okay.
Bob Hope comes down to the Academy of Music in Philadelphia and actually does a performance to raise money for Villanova football. Obviously, that wasn't, David, the only thing, but that was a funny story. It was a main story. He came down, he did a performance, and we bought football back in 1985. So it was actually gone for 4 years, from 81 through 84. When it came back, you know, Andy Talley was the coach, Hall of Fame. He's in 7 Hall of Fames now, Andy Talley. We played like the Navy JV pace. It was a Division III schedule. 1987 was our first year that we played Yankee Conference teams, and then I believe 88 was the first year into our Yankee Conference where we're in the league, and that will segue into. I'll give you my first playoff memory. 1989 was our first 1AA playoff game. Okay, we went down to Georgia Southern. At that time, they were a powerhouse. Georgia Southern. They were like the Youngstown State of the 90s, the App States of the 2000s. They had won 3 straight games and 3 straight championships in a row, and we were beating them at halftime. Kirk Scholes was throwing bombs all over the place to Bob Brady, but we ended up losing 52-36. It sounds bad, but it was a lot closer than it was. We just got worn down in the end.
Sure.
So that was our first playoff game. I guess everybody will say that the 23-21 championship game to win it all in 2009 in Montana. I should say in Chattanooga to beat Montana. But I had some other good memories. That year that we won it all, we went up 14-1. Our only loss was up in Durham, New Hampshire. We just happened to draw New Hampshire in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Joe said that we really struggled against New Hampshire.
Well, up there we did.
Okay.
But I knew getting them, that was the best draw you could get. There was no way that team, led by Chris Whitney and Matt Caesar, was going to lose to New Hampshire. Well, to make matters more fun, there was a blizzard here at the stadium. And everybody said, "Oh, this is New Hampshire weather, they're going to do great." 58-7, we killed them.
Wow.
The first play, they fumbled the ball, Dempsey runs in for a touchdown, and that's all she wrote. So that was a fond memory, I guess. And in our 2010 year, the year after we won the national championship, App State was really a powerhouse. They were heavily favored by double digits against us. We went down there. Matt Caesar, I'm sure you've probably heard of.
Yes.
He played Major League Baseball for the Cubs. He was responsible for 5 touchdowns, running, kicking, everything, rushing, passing, and we killed them 42-24. That was a great game. And then I guess if you want to do one more memory would be in 2002 we beat Furman and Fordham here to go to the semifinals, in McNeese State. So we've had a lot of good playoff times and playoff memories. I'm sorry, I know I went long.
No, please. I think, especially talking about, because we always hear about that gap where there wasn't football, but always hearing more, information about it, I think is definitely key. And I kind of let it. There were some people kind of walked in between throughout the video, but it just shows. I mean, the scene that's going on here. We had Burke behind us on the grill. People beginning to file in here to the tailgate as we are just about 2 hours or so away from kickoff here at Villanova Stadium. Villanova and Eastern Kentucky coming up to you at 2 p.m. Stay tuned for much more action. Go Cats!
Go Cats!
Hi, I'm Burke, the Grill Master here, Dave. That's what a playoff story. This would be back, I guess it was 2009, in the championship year. We had many tents here with the Alumni Association plus us, and we had like 14 coolers of beer, and it was great. One game was against New Hampshire. It was snowing.
They just had a blizzard that game.
Just had a blizzard, and we won by a lot. And then we got another home game. It was against William & Mary. It was dry but freezing cold, and we won by 1 point, 14-13. But Kathy and the other ladies had made these signs because ESPN was televising it, okay, and it was "Even Santa Picks Nova," ESPN, and the security people came around and said you can't have any signs, and so they made him take them down.
Okay.
But that was the championship year, and this guy's waiting for a hot dog, so I gotta go. Okay.
Thank you so much, Burke.
Okay.
Let's go! There's our cheerleaders, our dance team. The Villanova Wildcat is here. Come on! And the 2024